Hi everyone, welcome to the Grianaig Creations podcast. My name is Kirsty, this is episode 58 and this is a knitting and generally all round crafting podcast. Welcome back. It's been a wee bit longer than I expected between the last podcast and this podcast. That is because I was in New York for 5 nights, 6 days. And then I required about a week to recover. I'll go into more details a wee bit later on. And then I went back to work for 2 days. And then I was also then down in Manchester and Wakefield for 3 days. So, finally getting around to recording a podcast. Ignore the things in the background. This is our broken tumble dryer. This is a bedsheet hanging up to dry. So it was recording in here or recording in my bedroom where it looks a lot worse. So I chose in here. I'm not going to go into too much detail about New York in this video. I don't know. I'll decide as I go along, but I will get into what I've been working on and some finished objects. One finished object. I got a ton of yarn to show off that might not be up everyone's street, so that'll go closer to the end. And yeah, we're just going to get some general chit chat as well, but there is going to be a separate video with some clips and pictures from New York, so stay tuned for that on the channel. I just haven't had the time nor the energy to deal with editing and putting it all together, so that's why it's not been put up yet. So, first thing is first. Operation Social Justice Warrior. If you haven't heard of this movement, it's probably because you are not following, Angie of Gamercrafting, or you might not be on Instagram, which I know a lot of my YouTube followers are not on Instagram. So Operation Social Justice Warrior was started by Angie of Gamercrafting, and a lot of makers have come together. So there's actually over 180 makers in the community that have come together, and they're all making or donating or doing something to help raise money for different charities of their choice. I decided that I could take part by releasing a pattern I'd had in the works for quite a while, just hadn't had the motivation to do anything with it, and I am donating 20% of all the proceeds to the charity Beyond Skin. This is a charity based in Northern Ireland, but they are actually a worldwide charity. They work with a lot of events and companies to raise awareness. So I will pop a link to their website down below and you can get more information there. So the pattern I have created is called the Bonnie Bank Socks, and here is one off the blocker. This is knit up in Mrs. Lamb's yarns on the Wa sock base and in the rose macaroon colourway. Again, I will leave a link to Ellen's website down below. If you don't know that Mrs. Lamb's yarn, you might know her under the name of Calloch Chic Ellen, and her yarn is really beautiful. It's going to be a really good hard wearing sock yarn, and it's in just such a gorgeous and delicate colourway. So very happy to work with Ellen for the release of this pattern. So the Bonnie Bank Socks was just an idea that came to me. I've got a couple of stitch dictionaries, and I, not often, but when I do flick through them I get a lot of ideas, and this is one of the stitch patterns that came to mind that would look amazing on a sock. So it is worked cuff down, it has a heel flap and gusset construction, and then a Kitchener toe. I have done this for Magic Loop, but anyone that has experience of knitting socks should be able to convert it to working on DPNs or 9-inch circulars. That would be my phone. Brought it through just to make sure to check the episode number, but now it's just going off. So yeah, I'm really happy with these socks. Like I say, I've had this pattern written up for quite a while, but I had my test knitters come back with a few changes, and I just didn't do anything with those changes, not because I didn't think they were, like, the test knitters had found a mistake. I just knew I wasn't releasing it anytime soon, so I just kind of got lazy and didn't do the updates. So I re-knit the pattern and made the updates as I went along and found the mistakes that were actually in the heel. So hopefully now all the mistakes have been found and fixed, and the socks are now released and live on Ravelry. They are listed at £3, but what Ravelry does is they add the VAT on top, and then I have to pay that later on. So they are £3, but with the VAT it will show on Ravelry as £3.60. Please note I don't get that 60p, that does get paid back as VAT. And then 20% of all the proceeds after VAT is taken will be going to Beyond Skin. So here's what it looks like on a blocker, if that helps anyone. Doesn't really show the pattern very well, so that's why I've done one off the blocker and one on the blocker, but it does show the heel a wee bit better, how it will sit, and the toe as well. So that is my first finished object. That I only knit these in the last 2 weeks. I certainly didn't take them to New York, and I was panicking at the same time because I was like, oh my gosh, by the time I get back I literally have 2 weeks to knit up these socks and get them photographed. So I'm very happy to have managed that. And that is my only finished work in progress. Let's start that again. Let's actually take a swig of tea. That is my only finished object. I do have 2 works in progress to show off, and then everything else after that is just more chit chat and some yarn that I bought. So my first work in progress is actually half finished. I cast these socks on for... oh, sorry, I'm getting distracted by the messages. I cast these socks on as my plain knitting, and I could not be happier with this yarn. This yarn is by Marcus of Fiberpunk. Again, I will link him down below. He was taking pre-orders. I now think these are closed. The pre-orders are now closed. So this is the BB8 colourway. He also has an R2D2 colourway, which I do have. I just haven't cast on yet because I have too many projects on the go. Even though I only have 3 here today, I do have too many on the go. So this is the BB8 colourway. I started these toe up just because it would be so much easier being on the plane, and I done a fish lips kiss heel, and it wasn't until I was on the plane that I realised I hadn't brought a contrasting mini for my heel. So my heel has been done in the main colour, which is okay. I'm not too bothered about it. I would have preferred not to use my main yarn for my heel, but it is what it is. And then I do quite a short leg, and then I've done a few rounds of 2x2 cuff, and I deliberately tried to get it to end with a contrast at the top. So it did work out really well. I'm really happy with this. I did try it on just yesterday because I just haven't had the brain space to do much recently, and I've not really taken into consideration I should probably try it on. But it fits really well. The yarn is absolutely delicious. I'm hoping it's going to wear really well in socks. I don't see why it wouldn't. But the only thing I would change if I could would be to put a contrasting heel in. That's just because I feel like it's broken up my stripes quite a bit. It just looks a bit weird. But I'm not going to be too pernickety about it. And I'm going to really enjoy wearing them. So that's the first one finished. I just need to weave in the ends, which I will do. I have started becoming better with weaving in ends. And then I actually only started this last night, and that's because I had really been focusing on the Bonnie Bank socks. So I've got quite a bit done. So I got the toe done, got my increases, and then I started working in the round. I started this on Magic Loop, and then I moved to my 9-inch circulars. Which is my preferred method of knitting, to be honest, but I did knit these completely in Magic Loop, which killed me a wee bit because I am a 9-inch circular gal. But I know not everyone does 9-inch circular, so I thought if I'm going to write a pattern for Magic Loop, I need to knit the socks Magic Loop. So it feels really good to be back on 9-inch circulars. This yarn is so nice and soft and absolutely gorgeous to work with. So I can't wait to get these finished. They'll get added into my pile of new socks. They're not going into rotation just yet. I'm going to try and keep wearing the ones I have currently in rotation, and then eventually these will get added in. I'm really happy with the yarn. Marcus has done an absolutely fabulous job dyeing this up. So this is what it looks like in the cake. And I really loved when this was just sitting caked up ready to get cast on, because it looked like gingham, it looked like tartan. So that was really fun. So that is, excuse me, I can't clear my throat. The doctors say I've got like this weird version of hay fever that I've had for a number of years now, where essentially like the back of my throat gets really groggy, and I have to take a nasal spray to clear it. So no matter how much like I cough and stuff, it won't clear. Oh, I've just realised I have another work in progress. This has been a stowaway in this bag for 3 weeks now. So this is Lady Rainicorn yarn by Gamer Crafting, and you'll have seen these on previous podcast episodes. So this is one finished one, and all I have to do in this last one is the contrasting cuff. I had taken these to Scott's house before our flight to New York, so I went to Scott's house a couple of days early. I'll go into more detail about New York, I guess, in a moment. But I got into Scott's a few days early before our flight was due, and I was like, right, I need to take some knitting, so I took my sock, and it wasn't until I got to his and started working on it that I realised I had left my contrasting yarn in the house. Like, I physically remembered taking it out of the knitting bag and putting it in my pile of scraps. And I was like, why did I do that knowing I needed it for this sock? So I could only finish the leg and then I had to leave it. So I forgot that was in there. So now that that's out, I'll remember to finish that sock off. That'll be the first thing I do. But yeah, I totally forgot that I had to put that in this bag. So what I was going to show you is the progress that I have made on my Demetria sweater, which is a test knit for Verity of Truly Hooked. I am on the second sleeve. I'm so happy I'm about to drop yarn. I'm not so happy I'm about to drop yarn. I'm so happy that this is so nearly finished and I will get to wear it. So this is the one sleeve finished. I have slightly altered the decreases from what the pattern currently states, and I will be feeding that information back to Verity. And then I am working on the second sleeve. So let's see if I can show you where I am on the second sleeve. So not too much left to go, which is going to be great because I really do want to wear this. I look like I'm about to play a guitar. So yeah, not long to go left on the sleeves. I know my decrease rate, and it's fairly consistent decrease rate. So I've got one more round to knit, and then I'm going to do another decrease, and then that'll be me the whole way down. And then I made the cuff just a little longer than the pattern called for, and again I'll be feeding that information back to Verity. And it was purely a preference, and again I will state that in my email to Verity to say, look, this is just my preference. I've always really enjoyed sleeves that can do this and go down past my fingers. Makes me feel really cozy and snuggly. And I did shorten the length of the sleeve because it is a dropped shoulder. If I had knit to the length she wanted before I started the cuff, it would have been here before the cuff, and I didn't want the cuff to go my full hand. So I'm feeding all this back to her. I should hopefully get this finished. If I knuckle down, I probably could get it finished tonight. But it could be, with work starting back up Monday, it could be about Wednesday before I get it done, if I'm perfectly honest. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with that progress. I haven't touched it since I got back from New York. Again, that's purely because I really wanted to knuckle down and get my sock pattern ready, which I did, so yay. So I think even though I said I'm going to try and get this sock finished, I am actually going to try and get the jumper finished, because that is a test knit. I still have plenty of time for the deadline, but I would rather get it done early so that she can use that feedback. But yeah, still haven't decided 100% if I'm going to dye this sweater. I'm quite worried that even if I gave it a really good soak, put a good amount of citric acid in, it would still come out really, really blotchy. So I might just leave it as a white sweater. Which is fine, I don't mind that, but it's not really... I don't really own white clothing because I'm really bad at spilling things. Like, I had tomato soup for lunch, I'm really surprised I didn't get it on my top. But that's just me. Okay, so I'm going to jump in and show off some yarn. If that's not your thing, skip ahead, because there is going to be talk from my New York trip and my trip up from Manchester and Wakefield. The yarn I'm going to show off is actually just from my Manchester and Wakefield trip, and that's because my New York yarn is packed away. I didn't think this through. So, yeah, I got a whole bag. I'm going to show off the yarn I got from Countess of Blaze first, but I actually went to John Lewis before this in Manchester. Oh, no. Yeah, Manchester in the Trafford Centre. So went to John Lewis, which was my first stop in the Trafford Centre, on the Wednesday. Then on the Thursday I went to Countess of Blaze, and then on the Friday I bought some of Rosie's yarn, who goes under Pixel Atlantis. So I don't think I'm going to be able to hold all this. This is all the yarn I got from Countess of Blaze. Now, I deliberately got her 50-gram Persephone sock, and that's because, oh sorry, Lady Persephone sock. And that's because I can get a pair of socks out of 50 grams. And I thought, well, I don't want more waste, so if I'd got 100 grams, I would be guaranteed at least 40 to 50 grams of yarn left over. Whereas the 50 grams, I'm guaranteed to use up every drop of that yarn. So I decided to treat myself to what I wanted and how much I wanted, because when I came back from New York I had $300 left over because I didn't get to as many yarn shops as I wanted, and I didn't get the sweater's quantity of yarn I wanted either. So I changed the dollars back into pounds and I kept it aside to buy yarn in Manchester from Countess of Blaze. So the first one is Follow Your Dreams and Cover Your Footsteps. And it's just really, really gorgeous. There's some light blues and some purples and some greens in there. It's really nice. Next one is One Day I'll Reveal All. So in case, for those that don't know, the Lady Persephone sock yarn is 75 Blueface Leicester and 25% nylon, and you get 212 metres. So it's really, really beautiful. And then we've got Please Lord Not Today. I've been really keen on green yarns recently, which is a wee bit different for me. F Word. This was not in my original selection. Originally I'd selected 4 and then paid for them, and then I was just like, oh, that didn't come to nearly how much I was expecting, so actually we'll get some more. Bob Dylan is our leader. I was instantly drawn to this. like really instantly drawn to this one and two others, which I'm about to show you. This was the other one I was drawn to. Yeezys aren't cool, kinda. Yeezys, Yeezys. Isn't this stunning? Like, I can't wait to see how this knits up into socks. And lastly, this is another one I was drawn to. I always thought you were cool. It's just so pretty. So those are the ones I got out of Countess Ablaze. And then this is what I got from Rosie. So I got two. There's a skein missing. I got two of her Squishy DK in this gorgeous blue colour. So there's 500 metres of this, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, but it's going to make something really beautiful. And then, if I can find it, I got a high twist Fred and George's Fireworks. Pretty sure that's it. I'm now questioning whether it's like the Weasley's Fireworks, but I'm pretty sure it's Fred and George's Fireworks. I have a skein of this, and I have the self-striping version of this in 50 grams, but high twist, right there. Okay, so what I got from John Lewis. I got two of the 100% merino wool, 50 gram, 175 metres. This is John Lewis's own range of yarn. So I got these two colours. And then these ones alter ever so slightly. Or do they? No, I think it's just different label. Because, well, that's 100% merino wool, whereas this is 100% superwash wool. So they're ever so slightly different. So I got those two in the merino wool, and then I got these three in the superwash. And I thought these would make something great in colour work. And then I found these in the sale bucket. So this is the Novita yarn. This is the brand that brought out the Moomin yarn. So these were on sale for just under £3 each. They are 75.25 and they are excellent for socks. So I thought these would be perfect for heels, toes and cuffs, if not actual just full socks. But probably just going to keep them for heels, toes and cuffs. So I've got a grey, a white, a denim blue and a very hot pink. It's not coming up as bright as it is. I'm running out of places to put my yarn. And then, I'm not going to bring out all 7, but I got 7 of these. So this is the Rowan Valley tweed in an absolutely gorgeous maroon red. And these were on sale as well. So it's got 3 different prices on here. So I don't know if the scored out £8.95 is the original price. But I got one skein for £4.48. And I got 7 skeins, so hopefully that's going to make a really nice lightweight cropped sweater or a nice summer t-shirt. That's my thoughts. Those are genuinely my thoughts for what I'm going to make with this. So I got 7 skeins of this. And that's what I got in Manchester / Wakefield. I got 3 skeins in Wakefield and then the rest was in Manchester. I'm genuinely really happy with my purchases, and I know a lot of people are probably going to be sitting like, that's too much yarn, but I had originally saved up this money, like saved up all my pennies, worked really hard in my job for treating myself when I got to New York, and then sadly just the way it all worked out, or at least the way my body reacted, I didn't get to as many yarn shops as I wanted. That's it all away. and I dropped yarn and I don't know where it went. There we go. So yeah, I guess we'll move on to the portion about talking about New York. So for anyone new to the channel, my partner and I, Scots, had booked to go to New York. We were originally booked with Thomas Cook. We would have been away, actually about the time that I'm filming just now, we would have been away. That's why I was down in Manchester. We had an non-refundable booking, because originally our flight was at like 6 o'clock in the morning from Manchester. And there was no way I was going to be driving down at 11 o'clock at night to get into the airport for 3 for a flight at 6. No way. So we'd booked a hotel that we couldn't get a refund for the night before the flight. So Thomas Cook went under, we lost our booking, we got our refund back. We weren't going to rebook, but we found an amazing deal through a local independent travel agent where we actually went for longer, for cheaper, in a better hotel. So it worked out in our favour. Right up until I arrived in the city, it didn't feel real. It felt like it could get snatched away at any point. Something could have gone wrong at any second and we could have, like, it could have been cancelled for all we knew. And given the state of the health emergency in the entire world, it was very possible that that could have happened. But we flew out on the 25th of February. So we were very lucky when we flew out that it was before the state of emergencies were declared and flights were grounded. So we arrived absolutely safely in New York City, and I couldn't believe it, like physically couldn't believe it. Up until arriving I was just like, anything could go wrong, it could get cancelled, I'm not going to get there, it's just not happening. And we got there and it was great, absolutely fantastic. Not going to go into too much detail about everything that we done. You'll see little snippets and some photos that I took, and that will be in a separate video. But we went to, which yarn shops did we go to? Oh, who did I go to first? Seaport Yarns, that was the first one, where I got what looked to me, like handspun yarn, which I would really love to make into something woven. That would be my warp yarn, not my weft yarn, because I wouldn't be able to get through the reed that I currently have. So that was the first yarn shop we went to, Seaport Yarns. The man in there was absolutely lovely. And then next one, I'm pretty sure was String Thing Studios in Brooklyn. And then String Thing Studios was second, sorry. Oh god, I had more caffeine. String Thing Studios was second, String Yarns was third, and then Nitty City was the last one I got to go to. I passed Woolen on a bus that I could not get off, which really killed me because I really wanted to go there. I didn't get to Brooklyn General and I didn't get to Argyle Yarns. So Scott and I have said if we go back, those are the 3 must go to yarn shops. So Seaport Yarns I felt was okay, but it wasn't really what I was looking for. String Thing Studios had a good selection. I got yarn from, actually I put it on my Instagram so I can tell you who I got yarn from. I just can't show you, I'll put in a picture. Hello again. It would appear that my camera died, but before that it actually just stopped recording and then the camera turned off. I noticed the camera turned off as it was doing so because I could hear the lens retract, and then I switched on to recording on my mobile, But it would appear that some time before the camera actually switched off, it stopped recording. So, missing a fair amount of footage that cannot be made up for what I recorded on my phone. So I'm going to try and jump in as best I can. So apologies if I'm about to say something you have literally just watched. We went to Seaport Yarns first, where I bought a skein of yarn that to me looks like handspun. Doesn't state it on the label, but it does look like handspun. And the guy in the shop was really nice, but it just wasn't what I was looking for. So we moved on, and then possibly the day later or the day after that, we were in Brooklyn, and it was our third day. It was definitely our third day that we went to Brooklyn. And we went to String Thing Studios, which was really, really lovely. I picked up a skein of The Wandering Flock, which was in their single space, which I don't normally gravitate towards, but the colourway was just stunning. I got a skein of Lola Bean Yarn Company in a really beautiful, beautiful, rich, deep purple. And then my last skein from there was a self-striping skein that is only for String Thing Studios by Botanical Yarns, which was really, really nice. And then the third shop we went to was String Yarns, where I got 3 skeins of Koigu, I think that's how you say it, which were 50-gram skeins. And then a skein from, I want to say, Art Yarns. Let me just double check, because I put a picture on my Instagram. Yes, Art Yarns. Which was again another skein that was for that yarn shop. And then the last yarn shop we managed to get to was Knitty City, which I loved. I loved just wandering around. There was so much to squish. Well, I lied. We went to another shop. We went to Pearl Soho. But that just really wasn't a shop for me. So I say we were wandering Knitty City. Scott sat down in a chair and I wandered Knitty City, where I actually got the most skeins. I bought 4 skeins in, well no, I got 4 skeins in String Yarns, but 3 were only 50 grams. I got 4 skeins of 100 grams in Knitty City, and I got a skein from the Knitted Wit, or just Knitted Wit. 2 skeins from Artistic Yarn by Abby, and then I got a skein of Cat Sandwich Fibres, which I'm so happy about, because I've been wanting a skein of their yarn for, well, years now, but it is actually really difficult to get it in the UK. And if you do order it online, you are going to probably pay a good amount for customs. So that wasn't happening. So I thought, I'm going to be in the US, let's see if I can get it. What else am I? So technology is really not on my side today. As I was saying, if I could get it in the States, I was going to get it in the States. So I got my Cat Sandwich Fibres, which I'm so happy about. Then what else? I'm going to try and speed this up, and I'll talk more in another video into more detail. Sorry about that. But I just wanted to say, for anyone that might have noticed, Scott actually proposed whilst we were in the States. I didn't think he was going to. A lot of people had presumed with our original booking that he was going to ask, and because everyone kept talking about it, it actually started really annoying me. So I kind of made him promise not to ask while we were away, but what he says is that because the original booking cancelled, excuse me, he didn't actually break his promise, because we rebooked and then it was a different booking and a different time, blah blah blah. So he asked, I said yes. The picture makes it look like he asked while we were in Dumbo, which is down under the Brooklyn Manhattan bypass or something like that. But he actually asked me the night before in our hotel room, just the 2 of us. It was really nice. We just took the picture the next morning, and yeah. I've only really just got the ring because it was too small. Originally it was sitting about here because he kept asking me for my ring size and I kept not giving it to him because I thought it was going to be like another year or two before we got to this stage. But I said yes, and we're very, very happy. We are planning a long engagement, probably between the range of 3 to 6 years before we even knuckle down and pick a date, because we don't actually live together just yet. So we're going to save and get a house or a flat, and then we will think about setting a date. We would like to have an engagement party, but given the current health situation, that won't be going ahead because I, for one, am immunosuppressed. I have an absolutely compromised immune system. Scott's isn't too great either, so we are going to postpone any arrangements for a party until everything has settled down and COVID-19 has passed. But yeah, I'm so excited. I really didn't think this was going to happen. Not at this stage, at least. I knew he was going to ask, but I didn't think it would be in New York. But yeah, so happy. I do remember from my last podcast, from my last attempt at recording, that I'd forgot to mention at the start of the podcast where you could find me. So you can find me on Instagram as Grianaig_creations. You can find me on Ravelry as little-b. You can also come and join us on the Ravelry group, and you can search for that with Grianaig Creations Podcast. On there you'll find some chatter threads going on at the moment. There's quite a few threads for the GC 2020 stash bust, and basically the gist of that is that we're going to use stash from before the 1st of January 2020. So none of the yarn I bought just the last couple of days or the yarn I bought in the States is eligible, but anything from before then is completely eligible. So the socks that I have designed, the Bonnie Bank socks, the yarn from that has been in my stash since last year, so that will count. So basically what it is you just weigh what's left and then just state how much you used for your project. So yeah, it's a really good stash buster. It's to help people feel motivated to go through their stash and use that instead of buying when they think up a new project. So yeah, I hope you will come and join us over there, and thank you so much for watching. And before this cuts me out again, I'm going to say goodbye, and hopefully next time I have better luck with technology. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you when I next record. Bye.